All right, so today we're in 1.7, multiplying and dividing integers. All right, so before we get going, I want to just check some review problems that you've been working on. All right, so let's answer the questions together. Number 1, what is 12 minus 18? Negative 6. Different signs, subtract and take. What about negative 30 plus 10? Good. What about negative 8 minus 10? Negative 18, same sign, add and keep. What about 15 minus 16? Negative 1. What about negative 20 plus 8? Negative 12, different signs. And then what about negative 15 minus negative 10? Negative 5, because my double negative changes to a positive. And then I can evaluate and get negative 5. Anybody get them all right? Awesome, good job. Anybody miss one? Maybe miss one? Any questions? Okay, let's look at example 1. Actually, before we do that, we've got to write some rules. Now, our rules for multiplying and dividing integers, I call it my even-odd rule, okay? I call it my even-odd rule, okay? And here's what it says. If you have an odd number of negatives in the expression, it will be a negative answer. If you have an even number of negatives, it will be a positive answer. So you're multiplying and dividing the same way, except now in the expression, to figure out the answer, the sign of your answer, you count how many negatives are in the expression. If there's 4 negatives, that's an even number, so it's a positive answer. If there's 5 negatives, that's an odd number, so it's a negative answer. All right, so different set of rules for multiplying and dividing. So adding and subtracting, it's got its own rules. Multiplying and dividing, I use what I call my even-odd rule. All right, so now let's look at example 1. In example 1, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to multiply the numbers. I'm not worried about the signs at this point. I'm just going to ignore them for now. All right, so I'm going to multiply. What is 3 times 12? 36. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to figure out, okay, is it positive or negative? So how many negative signs do I have here? 2. 2 is an even number, so it's positive 36. All right? Now let's look at the second one. Negative 7 times 9. Well, what's 7 times 9? 63. And how many negatives do I have? 1. So my answer is negative. Okay? Because 1 is odd. Odd number of negatives is a negative answer. Any number, whether positive or negative, times 0 is just 0. Okay? And now let's look at D. Okay? So I need to look, well, first of all, and I had to do this last hour, I don't want to multiply those huge numbers because you're not allowed to use your calculator. All right, so let's just take off the 8. All right, let's just multiply it first. What's 9 times 2? 18. And what's 18 times 3? 54, good. And 54 times 5? I'll help you out. Awesome, 270. Very good. Guys, mental math, awesome. Okay, 270. Now, on a quiz or a test, I'm not going to give you such large numbers. Really, I'm testing you over whether or not you can apply the rules, okay? But here's my question. Is my answer positive or negative? Negative. Why is it positive? Because there's 2 negatives. That's an even number. Even number of negatives, positive answer. Okay? So now let's look at E. All right, well, I know my answer is 1. The question is it positive or negative 1? Negative. Okay? Well, I see 6 ones, though. 6 ones is an even number. Are you supposed to count how many numbers there are? No. What are you supposed to count? How many negatives there are? How many negatives are there? 5. So that's an odd number, so it's a negative answer. All right, and then the last one, it's going to be positive or negative 30? Positive or negative? It is negative. Why? Because there's only one negative, and that's an odd number. Okay, so in example 2 now, we're dividing integers. Same rules, okay? I'm using my even-odd rule, except now I'm just dividing. So what's 48 divided by 6?
8.
8. And is it going to be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, why? Because there's two negatives, and that's an even number. What's 56 divided by 7?
8.
Positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative, because there's only one negative, and that's odd. All right, what about 81 divided by 9?
9.
And is it positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. Okay, and then 150 divided by 3 divided by 5. What's that going to be?
Yeah.
All right, and then is my answer positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. Negative 10. All right, any questions on dividing integers? Any questions? All right, using our even-odd rule. Of course, it's got to get harder though, right? Okay, now when I'm multiplying and dividing, I'm going to use my left to right rule, okay? So it's very similar to what we've been doing. We just need to multiply and divide left to right, and then we look at what the sign of our answer is going to be. So 48 times 3, all right, my mental math people. 48 times 3?
144.
Close. 144. 144 divided by 16?
16?
No.
6?
No.
8.
Close.
9.
9. Okay, so I'm just working left to right. Now, if you were working this out, all right, and again, this isn't necessarily the part that I'm quizzing you over. Okay, I want you to get the sign in your answer right more than anything. And then 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Now, here's my big question. Is my answer positive or negative?
Positive.
It is positive. It is positive. I want you to do the next two on your own. All right, Andrew, what's the answer to the second one?
45.
All right, very good. Positive 45. And the third one, Alex?
Negative 8.
Do you agree?
Yep.
24 times, or 2 times 12 is 24, times 2 is 48, divided by 6 is negative 8 because there's 3 negatives in the expression. Very good. All right, now let's look at example 4. In example 4, we're finding the mean. Does anybody remember how to find the mean? How do you find the mean?
Is it average?
Yes, it is the average. So what do I do first? I need to do what, class? Add all the numbers together. Well, here's my problem. I've got positive and negative numbers. So here's what I want you to do. We did this the other day. I want you to group your positive numbers together and group your negative numbers. So we have 12 plus any other positive numbers? 30. And then we're going to write in our negative numbers. Minus 42, minus 36, minus 24, minus 18. Okay? And now I'm going to simplify. I'm going to add and keep my positive numbers and add and keep all of my negative numbers together. So I get 42 minus, okay, negative 42 minus 36 is negative 78. Minus 24 is negative 102. Minus 18 is negative 120. I think I heard it. All right, now what do I do? Now what do? I need to subtract and take because they are different signs, and they always will be, at this step if I had a positive and a negative number. Okay, so different signs, 120 minus 42. Why is my answer negative?
Absolute value.
Very good. I take the sign of the greater absolute value. You're exactly right. Okay, so negative 78 is my answer. Right?
No, you have to divide.
Very good. What do you divide by?
The number.
Very good. However many numbers are in the set, in this case it's 6, so my answer is negative 13. All right, I want you to try the second one on your own. All right, so when I add them all together, add and keep, what do I get? What do I get?
264.
Okay, negative 264. And then what do I divide by?
It's 6.
6. And what do I get?
negative 4.
Okay, negative 44. Alrighty. Okay, one more example. Y'all ready for example 5? Yes. Okay, well, we have to do variables. Guys, this is the part where we connect it to algebra, okay? Algebra deals with variables. So now we're going to apply this concept now to algebra. Now, in example A, we have 72 divided by x squared. So we're going to plug in our value, 72 over negative 4 squared. Now, here's my rule. Are you ready? Anytime you raise a negative number to an exponent, I need you to put it in parentheses. And this is why, okay? If you don't put it in parentheses and you're using your calculator, technically that means negative 4 times positive 4 if it's not in parentheses. If it's in parentheses, then we know that it's negative 4 times negative 4, okay? So if you don't understand that, that's okay. You just need to remember, put your negative number in parentheses when you raise it to an exponent. All right, so negative 4 squared, since it's in parentheses, I know that it's negative 4 times itself, which is negative 4, and what does that equal? Positive 16. Negative 4 times negative 4, 2 negatives is a positive, and then 72 divided by 16 is what? It's going to be, I think, 4.5. 4.5. It's not quite even. 4.5.
9 over 2.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so it's going to be 4.5. All right, now I want you to try B on your own. Okay, so let's substitute. Hey, what does 4x mean? What operation?
Times.
Multiplication, so make sure you put it in parentheses. Negative 4 squared over 10 equals 4 times 16 over 10. Thank you. Somebody caught it. Very good. What did I forget? Hey, guys, one little slip like that, and you could end up getting the answer wrong. So don't forget, whatever's negative, you've got to bring it over. Okay, so now 4 times 16 is 64 over negative 10. So my answer is negative 6 4/10. Okay? All right, very good. And if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for section 1.7.